good afternoon. It's Monday here at IBC. It's day 4, I believe, and this is the Bubble Squeak live and loud half hour. Hope you're well. Just a reminder, if you didn't see the show earlier in the week on Saturday, the Bubble Squeak are of course a PR and communications agency. You'll have seen the Bubble Squeak ladies wandering around the show in their pink and white striped shirts generally, making lots of noise and doing some great business, specialising in broadcast technology and media industries. They are of course based in the UK but operate globally, working with manufacturers and service providers and with everything from acquisition to delivery. Now the Bubble Squeak clients we've got here at the show here at IBC, we spoke to some of them on Saturday. Cambridge Imaging Systems, who develop software for cloud-based media asset management. Cook Optics, of course, the Oscar-winning manufacturer of precision lenses for film and TV. Audio Network with all the music. Digital Vision, the developer of colour grading and restoration tools. And NewTek, the developer of live production tools including TriCaster and 3Play. We'll be hearing a little bit more from the guys from TriCaster a little bit later on. So we heard from all those guys on Saturday, but we thought, what else has been going on here at IBC? So we've invited some new guests along, and we're kicking off with John and Hugo. John from the Foundry, hello. Hugo from the Mill. Nice to see you guys.
Oh, nice to see you too.
I know you've had a busy show. John, we'll kick off with you. Tell us a little bit about the Foundry, if you will.
Okay, so the Foundry is a visual effects software company. We're based in London. We do lots of different types of software. One is NewTek, which is the one that I look after. It's a compositing software. We also have like timeline software, 3D creation, content creation software, Modo, and lighting, and yeah, we kind of try and cross the whole the pipeline of.
So the announcement for you here at the show with NewTek is next version NewTek, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're releasing NewTek later in the year, and we announced it on first day of IBC on Friday. There's a lot of great things in there. NewTek is very well known in the compositing world for film, but we also have clients and commercials and so on. So we did a lot of updates for everyone in this release. Stuff like a new text engine, there's timeline stuff in Adobe Sheet, there's a lot of new color correct tools, and camera tracker, which we've got this 3D camera tracker. We've got really great technology in there as well for solving with stills. So it's a really, really big update. We're really excited about it.
Superb. Now, Hugo, great to have you here on the sofa as well.
Thank you so much.
You've been down on the Foundry stand and showing everybody what you do over at the Mill. So tell us just that. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm the head of the Nuke department at the Mill, and the Mill is one of the largest commercial visual effects facilities in the world. We operate on 4 different offices: London, New York, LA, and Chicago. And I run a department of about 30 people, and we use Nuke and Hero for every single task of visual effects and compositing.
Excellent. And NewTek, you've had a little sneaky peek at, I know, because they've been demoing it down on the stand. What are you looking forward to, and when are you going to get your hands on it? I suppose we need to ask John that, really, don't we?
I'm sure we're going to put our hands on it very, very soon. I mean, we always are involved on the alpha and beta testing of both Nuke and Hero. And I mean, it has most of the tools that we've really been waiting for, because we, like I said, specialized on commercials, and most of the new tool sets are really catering for commercial work, like the titling, the dope sheet, and the timeline features. That is very exciting for us to have.
Excellent. And I suppose it's an important relationship, isn't it, for anyone who's developing this kind of software, to have people like Hugo who are going to give that feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. We have really good ties with everybody, with lots of different houses in industry. We have a central office in London, so those of you who are familiar with the London post-production industry will know that it's all in a kind of square mile, so we can walk over and have lunch and have coffee and talk about post problems.
Yes.
So yeah, it's very exciting. We also have offices in San Francisco and Los Angeles as well. So we have close ties with houses out there too.
Superb. How's it for you then? You've been here all week with these guys at the show. Does that help you develop that relationship? So you're working away, and one day you need something, it's not there, you can talk to these guys.
Yeah, that's very important for us. I mean, the Foundry has a very good relationship with all the visual effects companies, and that really helps for the user to have some feedback and to make sure that the application is doing exactly what we need on a day-to-day basis.
Excellent. So any highlights finally of the show this week? Anything in particular on the stage? Doesn't have to be about the Foundry. Mind you, a few people out there probably want it to be about the Foundry.
This is probably going to be more for Hugo, because I'm all pretty much stuck on the booth the entire time. This is my 5-minute gap where I'm allowed off the booth duty. So Hugo,
what have you seen that you like? And I mean, there's some great other demos down there, aren't there?
Yes, it was. I mean, of course, I have to mention that NewTek was very exciting to see, and F-Track as well.
Good man.
But I was very excited to see the new Red camera as well, the 6K camera that they've just launched. And I mean, I've been seeing quite a lot of exciting new products coming up, and I've been presenting on the booth as well quite a lot, so I haven't had the time to work the floor, as we speak.
Okay, brilliant. Where can we find you, the mill, the web address for the mill, so we can see the kind of stuff that you do?
It's themill.com, and in there you'll find every single production that we've been doing over the past year, and you can also check our latest showreel, which we launched last month.
Superb. And for the Foundry?
It's thefoundry.co.uk. And all the information's there about what we do.
Brilliant. Guys, thanks for coming. I know you've got to get straight back, so you stay right where you are while we change over the guests on the sofa. We're right back. The next guests are lined up on the sofa. Let's not waste any time. Let's get over to them. He's back. We've got Carter back. How are you, Carter, from NewTek? You
I'm
right?
doing great.
Excellent. And you brought Max Boury with you as well,
Yes.
who's from the Metropole Orkest, which we'll hear a little bit about in a minute, Max, because we had a chat on Saturday, Carter. We were talking about all the great products that are new to TriCaster. We didn't, to NewTek. We didn't get a chance to chat about the people that are using them.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of quick examples, and Max has a great story. We're always amazed at hearing the different ways that people are figuring out how to use TriCasters, and we've got a museum in London, the Victoria Albert Museum, which is now, they have a digital future plan that they've implemented, and they are using TriCaster for live events to not only stream the live event throughout the museum, but also to their websites, and they have a plan to extend that even to shopping malls in the London area. So that's pretty unique. Another one of our customers is the Euro Millions Lottery, which is based in France, and through coordination with Pinewood Studios in the UK, is actually a really interesting workflow. They take the live feed from the Euro Millions Lottery via satellite, and there's an automated voice and graphic that communicates the ball that's dropped into the TriCaster feed. So all the operator needs to do is crop that during the live show, and then they can push that out to YouTube. So that's a really interesting story. And another one that's fascinating is actually here at IBC, which is the John Lennon Educational Tour Bus. They're parked over in Congress Square, and the bus has had a 16-year history in the United States, but they've now launched a European bus. It's traveling all across the European countries, and it's spreading the message of peace, as well as working with students to help them understand how to write music and stream live television and things like that.
It's fantastic. I've actually been on this bus as well. It's awesome. 3 separate studios. It's like a proper Formula One style thing. It's got the TriCaster on there. It can communicate with the other bus in the States. It's awesome.
It's amazing.
But we're not going to continue with that because we've got Max here, who you're using the TriCaster. You've got a fascinating story as well with. Part of having the TriCaster, I know for you, is about raising money for the orchestra as well, isn't it? But tell us about the story.
Yeah, now, so as you know, there were some severe cultural cutbacks in Holland with what's concerned the orchestras. And we had some software developed so that people could compose a little tweetphony, it was called, on the telephone and send us to the orchestra. We were in the studio from 9 a.m. and the tweets came in, and there were some arrangers writing the tweets out for the full orchestra. It's a 60-piece orchestra, full big band, string section, percussion section. So we performed the whole day, all the tweets that came in the studio. So we were live on the internet. We used the TriCaster for that. We recorded it and we streamed it live. And at the same, after the tweets were played by the orchestra, they were put on the internet and sent back to the composers. And it was a great success. I think we played about 56 tweets van Nice. Were very short pieces, but it was some great music. And we also got some sponsoring because the big companies liked the idea very much. And even the advertising company who came up with the idea of Tweet for Me, they won a big prize, the biggest prize in the advertisements industry. So it was a great success.
That is superb. It's a fantastic way, Carl, of using the TriCaster with social media and getting that live feed out there and being immediate with things.
Right. That's the thing we find with TriCaster and social media is the immediacy of it. While you're doing a live show, you can interact with your audience not only that's live but also online.
So now you have the TriCaster. Did you have all these ideas of the Tweet Symphony beforehand, or is it something that you found you have this product and now you're looking at all the different ways that you could use it?
Now we now bought the newest TriCaster because that's HD. We had the SD TriCaster, but now because we don't have much money anymore from the government, we are now going to develop some educational projects that we can, from our rehearsal studio, we can stream live to the internet to all schools in Holland, for instance, and teach them about the orchestras and instruments, because the government also cuts back on music schools and the normal money that goes to schools. So we are going to build or going to plan those educational projects. Yeah. And that's why we use the TriCaster for. We can go live all day. It never stops, so it goes on and goes. And we are the only orchestra in the world that plays every day in the same setup. So we are famous for that. And we use the TriCaster to get into the world now.
So it's a great way of the TriCaster, the investment in the TriCaster helping you to raise money into fund the orchestra.
Yes.
Brilliant. Where can people see the Tweet Symphony? Via your website, I presume?
Yeah, they can go to our website, it's www.metropoleorkest.nl.
Excellent.
And there they can find, and otherwise it's on YouTube as well. So if they tweet for me, if they type that in, it should pop up.
Brilliant. And for the TriCaster products?
Well, obviously NewTek.com, and if you're interested in checking out the John Lennon bus, it's over in Congress Square. You can also stop by the NewTek booth, pick up one of these passes. It'll bump you right to the front of the line.
Brilliant. Gents, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to change the guest once more. Stay right where you are. Just 6 weeks and 4 days ago, a brand new sports channel launched in the UK. It was, of course, BT Sport. And I'm joined on the sofa by Chief Engineer at BT Sport, Andy Beale. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Having a busy show?
Very busy, yeah, looking at lots of things.
Tell me about BT Sport. I know that you're over there in the old Olympic site in the UK in London. Tell us a little bit more about the channel.
So, for those who don't know, it's a brand new sports entertainment network, multi-channel, multi-platform, and we cover all sorts of sports, but also try to bring an entertainment factor to the channel as well. So it's not just traditional sports program, but chat shows, Claire Baldwin, for example, and all that sort of thing.
Okay, so tell me, you've set up basically from scratch, kind of from scratch? I know you've got this huge studio over there. So how did you go about it? How did you go about the technical infrastructure?
So it was, like you say, it was a very busy project. We only saw the site for the first time in October last year, and the business very quickly signed on to the idea. We did 3 months of design, frantic design. Got the keys in February the 4th, and 21 weeks later, production moved into the space for rehearsal and making pre-production ready for our August 1 launch.
I've seen some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and if you've seen it, a 21-week, it's some feat. It really is. So you tell me first of all, you're one of the first broadcasters, weren't you, to fully subscribe to the DPP? Can you tell people about the DPP? And
yeah, that's right. So
for those,
absolutely. So for those who don't know, the DPP is a cross-broadcast initiative in the UK. It's funded by the BBC, ITV and Channel 4, but has cross-party representation from all the other broadcasters, including BT Sport. You know, when we started, we were always going to be a file-based broadcaster. We have no legacy, so we're quite lucky in some ways. And we decided early on that we would try and fall in line with both existing but also emerging standards. It's really important to follow standards. And so we joined the DPP, and we've adopted their new delivery spec as our standard, and we've been delivering programmes ever since for 6.5 weeks.
So you start with. Obviously, you've got the plan. You've designed what you need to fit into this space, how it's all going to work. How do you go about choosing the vendors then that are going to deliver that and going to deliver that on time?
Okay, so I mean, choosing vendors, we had a few criteria. Clearly, they had to deliver on time. They had to be trusted and proven technology. We didn't have time for huge science projects. We needed to know people could do it and deliver it and it work. I mean, commercially, of course, is always a factor. But crucially, you wanted interoperability, and we really wanted support. I talked about the DPP. That mandated an ABC intro workflow, or certainly for mastering. And what we did, we had a little look at the market. We wanted to see whether ABC was realistic to go from end to end, all the way through production, both in-house and OBs and Eng, all the way through to delivery. And we were really excited to discover most of the vendors now are very mature and we could support this workflow. So we've gone completely ABC intro all the way through. So in terms of vendor choice, we've chosen EVS as our ingest and replay technology. We've got Harmonic Media Grid storage. EVS IP Director manages that, so we have production desktops, so 200 terminals out using IP Browse, and then the edit client is Avid, so we send very traditional workflows, but they work really well in the ABC codec, sending to the Avid, either clipping and sending, or streaming for fast turnaround stuff. And then we send off to Pro Tools for audio, and we can do things like we have a really nice plug-in from Chiron, so the producers can put all their templated graphics on, making sure they're compliant and within the correct house standard. Then we can send back to Amberfin, who render out our master file for delivery to Red Bee, our playout partner, or indeed back to an EVS for live playout if it's tight turnaround.
So how's it all gone? Teething problems with any of it, or is it?
It's gone, I mean, remarkably well.
Quick
touch wood. I mean, it's been brilliant. But we always had great confidence. Maybe we were daft, but we've always had great confidence in it, and it's been a real success story. We've got over 3 million subscribers now, particularly since doing the deal with Virgin. So we've got a really big, really encouraging customer base to get going, and loyal fans. They like the app, they like the web streaming, so they come at us at all angles in terms of the way they subscribe to our content.
It has caused a real buzz as well, because it's got some of the big football games are on there that previous broadcasts had before. It's kind of, there's a little bit leveling the playing field. I know the Premier League rights have changed this year as well, so there's different access to players and to managers and to different times, and there's pre-game and post-game sort of stuff. But tell me a little bit more about spreading that across the different platforms, because and how all the technology works for you.
Sure. So in terms of scheduling, I'm not really in a position to comment particularly, but you'll probably spot that the prime rights are often on BT Sport 1, as you'd expect.
The adverts
but
now.
Listen, people are consuming now more and more on the app. We have a huge app take up. We're about to hit the 1 million downloads on the app, which is both on Android and iPhone, which we're really pleased with. And people can consume it all 3 channels: BT Sport 1, 2, ESPN, but also we have a digital exclusive channel, so we can do a bit like Red Button, but on the app. Or indeed, there's lots of catch-up content, as you'd expect.
Superb. Just to wrap up then, you've been here for most of the weekend. Anything that you've seen in particular that you might be adding to? Perhaps better keep it a secret for now, but any highlights from the show, anything you've seen that's caught your eye?
We've spent lots of money, so so far. Some really interesting stuff out there. Current telestration and analysis tools are getting really interesting now, so we've been taking a close look at those. So you've got some very interesting new technology around Ultra 4K and doing some stitching, real-time stitching of that and combining it with analysis. I was particularly taken with the EVS Lego remote controller. That's my personal highlight for the show.
I've not seen it yet.
It is the best thing here.
Superb. I'm going to go and find that after the show then. Listen, thank you very much indeed for joining us, Andy. I wish you all the very best of luck and the continued success with BT Sport. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right then, people, it's time to change for another guest, and we're going to be looking at finance next. Hey, welcome back to the Bubble Squeak live, and it is live as the alarm goes off. Someone's heading out a fire exit at the IBC. Imagine that. Welcome back to the Bubble Squeak live and loud half hour here at IBC. It's day 4. There's been loads going on at the show. I know everyone's been out there having a look at all the different bits and bobs. And if you found something that you fancy purchasing, then our next guest might just be able to help you out. Samantha Orlo, very warm welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Excellent. You're the area sales manager for Fineline Media Finance.
That's right.
First of all, tell us about Fineline Media and about this essential service that you provide.
Well, Fineline's the only own funder in the broadcast market, which means we help our customers to spread the cost of their capital expenditure over a period of time. Asset finance. It's quite simple, and we look after quite a range of customers, anything from owner-operator cameramen, production companies, visual effects houses, rental companies, right up to the broadcasters themselves.
Well, in fact, we just had one of the broadcasters that you work with here in the studio, haven't we? Because you've helped BT with some of the financing. Can you tell us some of the things you help them with?
Yeah, basically the Chiron Higo system that's being used for all the graphics, we supplied that to Move, who have the contract for all the graphics and titling across the channels. And it was quite a tight time frame to turn that around. But because we know the people involved, we know the product, it was very easy for us to work to their time frame and make it happen for them.
And I suppose this is one of the big pluses, isn't it, for someone, be them small or large, be them a freelancer or be them a big broadcaster, to come to you to look at these things because of your expertise within the industry. Yeah,
exactly. We all have equipment sales backgrounds, so we understand the products. The usual banks that the customers might have don't understand the product necessarily, and so it's difficult for them to extend finance against it, whereas this is all that we do. We have close relationships with all of the manufacturers, and it means that we can finance their equipment quickly and easily.
And I suppose a show like IBC is quite important for you because it's a place for you to forge those relationships.
Yeah, exactly. We offer some subsidised finance as well. This is something that the traditional banks don't do. We speak to the manufacturers themselves, and quite often they'll offer a subsidised finance programme through us. That means the customers can finance perhaps at 0% finance, for example, which Sony are doing throughout the IBC show.
Yeah, because you've just done to close the deal with Sony on the Sony cameras. What else is going on at the show?
That's right. Yes, we've actually closed today the first of the Sony 0% finance deals. It was with Telegenic. They supplied 8 camera channels through WTS broadcast. So quite proud of that. We are essentially, Sony's authorised finance partner.
Superb. And who else have you been working with at the show? What else has been happening?
Well, we work with all of the manufacturers. In the past we've worked with Panasonic and JVC, Arri, lots of the lighting companies, Sennheiser, TSL currently have some promotions on their Soundfield microphones, which is all backed by Fineline, because all of those guys know that we're able to give their customer the speedy, efficient service that they require, because it's
excellent. Now, of course, we're at the International Broadcast Conference, so it's not just the UK that you operate, is it? You work in Europe as well?
We do, yes. We've just introduced a new member to the Fineline team, which is Samuel. He's based in Brussels and he works for us in the Benelux regions. We also have some finance partners now in the Nordics, and so we're hoping in the future to push out throughout Europe. We do also have another product that we've been talking to people at the show about today, which is aimed at the systems integrators, and it's enabling them to be able to finance the cost of large projects, truck builds and that kind of thing, which sometimes there could be a bit of they're quite cash flow issues there in having to pay for the kit up front, but it's going to take some time to build it into a project before they then sell it on to their customer and it's paid for. And that's something that we actually offer worldwide now.
And I guess that's something that's going to appeal to businesses small and large, is the cash is king, cash flow is really important, and that's something you can help them out with.
Yeah, that's exactly what Fineline does. We enable our customers to keep their cash in their business, preserve their cash flow, and that's vital whatever the size of your business.
Now, obviously working with lots of different manufacturers, but is there anything that you've seen in the show that you could, over the last few days, that you'd say that was my favourite, or something that you're really interested in?
Well, obviously 4K is the watchword of the show, and I was very interested to watch the live rugby streamed absolutely live to the Sony stand. It was amazing, and I think it's shown everybody exactly where broadcast is going.
Superb. So tell everybody then out there where we can find Fineline, what's the web address, and how to get in contact.
Okay, well, you can get in contact with us. Most of you will probably already know one of us anyway, but it's www.fineline.co.uk, and any web search will also find us. And shall I give them a telephone number as well?
Why not? While you're here. No, you can't. Do you want to? No. Keep the digits to ourselves. But Fineline, the web address. It's been great having you here. Thanks for talking us through all that, and enjoy what's left of the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Now, that about wraps things up here for the Bubble & Squeak live and loud half hour. Thank you very much indeed to the guys from the Foundry. That was John, of course. Hugo joined us from the mill. You can join those down in Hall 7 for some great demos. The guys from NewTek were here. We had Andy from BT as well. Thank you very much indeed, Sam, for joining us. And of course, you can find out more about Bubble & Squeak by going to their website, or of course you can go to their Twitter feed, which is bubblesqueak.com. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, and thanks to all the guests that drew me today, and indeed earlier in the week on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of IBC. I've been Ben Baldwin. You've been fantastic.